So you want to make your truck higher, right? Well, today we're going to talk on DG's TV all about levels versus lifts and the different style as we do in here today. Okay, so our patient today is a nice half-ton Ram. Now this is your 2011 style in this specific one, and we're installing a 6-inch lift. Now at DG's, we have multiple different lift brands that we deal in. There is the bottom of the barrel, that's your value price brand, get you up a nice lift and in there cheap. And then we go all the way to some really beautiful top of the line kits with coilover struts and shocks and give really OEM or better factory ride quality. So it all depends on what the customer's wants, needs, and budget are to get you into the right lift kit. And you gotta remember at DG's we're using factory trained technicians for all of the assembly and install, and all of our alignment is done correct as well, so we're gonna make sure that we have the truck set up perfect when we go to have it roll down the road and we're finished. So the specific lift we're putting in this truck today is a 6-inch Zone kit. Now Zone and BDS are both made by the same parent companies, so this is their more value priced brand type of lift kit. Now this truck had a leveling kit in it, which is usually typically about a 1 to about a 2.5 inch spacer kit that goes on top of its factory strut, as seen there. So this is your factory strut assembly that will install up into its spring bucket. So this truck, like I said, previously had a leveling kit, and that's it. That's your leveling kit right there. So this is probably about a 2-inch leveling kit. Will then bring that whole strut down using the factory strut and coil spring to try and maintain as best a factory ride height as we can. Pro con that, cheap, easy, get you fitting those tires in there nice and quick and easy. Pretty simple install too, so your labor is going to be at a minimum. Going from there, your next step is to what ReadyLift is another company we deal with, calls their SST kits. And a lot of companies have copied them. You have that same type of spracer, but they have heavy duty control arms that will go in these kits as well. The reason these are important to go in there is they're heavy duty, beefy, and they re-arch the upper ball joint so that we don't have stress on that upper ball joint. One of the downsides to a leveling kit only is that upper ball joint gets stressed, and it's something you're going to prematurely wear and have to replace quite often. Other thing we have with just a leveling kit is it doesn't move the factory differential. So you'll find your CV axles are quite extreme. Extreme CV axles going down the road, especially when in full drive in the winter, you're going to wear that component. So that's the con to a leveling kit. This customer going out of a leveling kit up to a full suspension kit, we're going to notice a couple key components. And from brand to brand, they're all similar, so just kind of bear with me. You're going to remove the lower control arm, and you have a big, beefy, basically a subframe extension here. We'll get a good shot of that. You're also going to get rid of your factory control arm, and we're going to go to that big, beefy aftermarket one in its spot. Now, in regards to the strut, we want to extend that strut quite a bit more. So your cheaper option is to do a strut extension. Of course, now that fits up in there, and you can see the difference, and that's where a lot of your lift comes from. The larger or nicer kits do actually have a complete longer strut, or the other option is some of them have an adjustable strut that you'll put in that'll actually move that spring bucket up, keeping the factory spring but giving you that longer strut. Now once we drop down the control arm with the extensions here, and we've got a larger, longer control arm, everything's going to be back in geometry. One more important component is going to be the knuckle assembly. Taking your factory wheel bearing and changing it over to a nice beefy, larger knuckle assembly, and I'll compare that to the stock one in a sec, will go in here as well, and now we've got a really nice strong component that's about, in this case, 6 inches taller than stock. Some of these kits are a 4 to 6 to 7.5, and up they go in this half-ton application. Now in your domestics, your Ford, your Chevy, and your Dodge application, the design of the suspension is very similar, so it doesn't really matter brand to brand, the kits are going to be very similar. As this is a Dodge application, again, we talked about keeping these driveline angles in order. We want to drop the front differential with big, beefy brackets. Now, different from brand to brand, you'll find thicknesses of the brackets, quality of the finish on the brackets. In this case, Zone includes a big, beefy skid plate with all of those. It may not be a kit you're going to take off-road rock crawling, but it is going to be a kit that's going to handle everything you're going to throw at it on the farm, on the job site, and just going down the road. We also, with good quality lift kits, we find we get nice spacers to keep driveline angles factory. Within the front drive shaft in a full drive style like this, we want to make sure that driveline angle stays as close to factory as we can so we don't get any vibrations. And then again, that's sometimes the difference between a value and a good kit. We'll give you a shot of the back here and talk about it in a second too. In the back of this Dodge half-ton, now again, this is a 2011, Dodge in, I believe it was 2009, went to a coil spring rear suspension. Some lift kits, half-ton or bigger, will have a leaf spring in here. Your cheaper leveling kits or lift kits are just going to have a block that goes in either place of or stacks with the factory leaf spring, basically moving the axle away from the spring. In this style, in the Dodges, we have a control arm setup and a coil spring. Okay? Ride quality of the coil spring rear suspension is better than in the leaf spring suspension. Nice thing is when we talk about lift kits, adjustability. You're going to take that factory spring out, put a nice big beefy, larger, longer spring in place, increasing travel as well. Now some of the kits will also have a longer control arm setup that will bring that axle geometry back in place. And then the nice thing is with a lot of these lift kits, we get some options with shock. A lot of them have their own in-house based shock brand, and it might be a cheaper shock that we can always change out to say a Rancho. In the case of the Zone and BDS options, we got a nice Fox 2.0. The nice thing is when you purchase a lift kit from DGs, we can generally swap in a better quality shock if that's what you're looking for, like this customer did for his Fox 2.0s that are going in there. A couple other things you're going to need in the back end of this as part of this full 6-inch lift. We're going to have some bracketry to bring that axle back into the correct geometry as well. We have to take note of the drive shaft length in that. We have to make sure we don't have any problems with drive shaft length and that we have enough yoke for pinion depth there as well. So lots of neat things when you're talking about lift kits. If you have any questions, by all means give us a call at DGs. We can be your technical knowledge lift kit headquarters. Again, we're going to follow all of our lifts up, lifts and levels with a good quality alignment that brings camber, caster, and toe angles back into spec. And that's going to be important to keep those beefy tires that we're going to sell you next to go on these trucks. You're going to spend a nice chunk of change on and keep those from wearing unaccurately. So, I think that'll do it for this one. Any questions about suspension, trucks, cars, lift kits, levels, or otherwise, by all means give us a call at DG's ProTech. Our new shop is up, running, and it's beautiful, so come by and stop and see us. The new shop direct line is 519-418-AUTO. It's 2886. And make sure you hit us up on the Facebook, Instagram, and you can always catch us at that good old email at www.dgsprotech.com. That's it for now, guys. Keep an eye on what we're doing, and make sure you come and see us. Thanks a lot.